Hey everybody, before we hop into this episode, I just want to give you the warning that we are going to discuss a character that has a little bit of suicidal tendencies. So if that is something that you struggle with, just a heads up, it may be not the episode for you. If you do struggle with anything like that, you can find some links and resources in the show notes. But hope you guys enjoy the show. I even pictured kind of, Night at the Museum, Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh,
Robin
yeah.
Williams, just that kind of old school, like man's man dude.
Yeah.
Who's, I think that's funny, especially comparing him with a guy who loves anime. And he's just like, have you seen anime? And he's like holding up anime to the mirror. And the guy's like,
son, I don't know what it is I'm watching, but I love it.
Welcome to StoryFellas, the podcast where we make stories and break stories. I'm your host, Tommy Antonucci.
And I'm your host, Zach Lovelace.
Zach, how are you doing today?
I am really well. Coming off a hot weekend, dude.
Yeah, I know. It was we were hosting people this weekend, which was a lot of fun. Man. We went and saw, I don't know if you heard of this, where they do like the live orchestra for movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we went to see, we had friends come visit in town, and then we went to go see Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets with their live orchestra, which was really cool. You don't realize how much music is in that movie until you have the people playing live, and you're like,
and you can't hear anything.
No. You're like, what's happening? It's funny because the music is, it's kind of like it that way. The music is a touch louder than it normally would be.
Yeah.
So there's certain points where like the music swells and you're like, you just do not hear any dialogue or anything like that. But that's kind of the point of it. I'm there to hear the music, but it's impressive. I can play guitar and I can play some chords, but I cannot do anything that these guys are doing.
Oh, man. And John Williams' score for that, for those films in general is just amazing.
Yeah, it's great. So we did that, and then we hosted some people, played some board games, hung out, made some food. So that was our weekend. What'd you get up to?
So I went up to Tiger, Georgia, and shot a documentary interview with a pediatric neurosurgeon.
Oh yeah, how did that go?
That was really interesting.
Nice.
Yeah, it was cool. Getting up there was hard. It's just a little bit of a drive from where I'm at, but also the last 30 minutes of it is driving uphill. And I thought my car was just going to bite the dust, dude. And I have all this film equipment.
Just mushroom clouds.
Yeah. But the interview itself went really well.
Nice.
Like I said, he's a pediatric neurosurgeon that operated on the subject of my documentary and 20 years ago. So he showed me this. I'll show it to you. Hold on. Let's see. I'll show it to you. I have this x-ray that he gave me.
Yeah.
Of the incident.
Audience, this is just for me.
Yeah.
You can't see anything. Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is really crazy.
Goodness. For those who don't know, it's an x-ray of a 10-year-old girl with a hammer stuck in her head.
Yeah.
Let that serve as a teaser for you.
Yeah. Yeah, Zach's working on a documentary. I'm very excited to see it. What's the timeline for it? You're thinking it might wrap up this year, right?
Yeah, definitely. I need this thing off my back. But we'll see. I have a few new gray hairs because of it. It's just when you're doing a real grassroots project like that, you are the only one, typically, unless you have a partner or something. So it's just every decision has got to go through me. And that day was exhausting because I had to do the interview, which is really hard doing that much eye contact, unbroken eye contact.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this before because we do interviews. And I've had to do them where you're kind of everything, where it's just you running cameras and conducting and you keep an eye on audio. And I feel like that divides you a lot. I personally, if one can, have a designated interviewer because you just get such a better story if you have someone maintaining eye contact, someone whose job is there to listen and engage with the subject. Because otherwise, if you're like, yeah, keep talking, and then you turn your back to them and you're looking
you have to maintain curiosity, which most most of the crew is just preoccupied. But it was even I was a dedicated interviewer, and it was still really hard.
Yeah.
Just he was talking very technical things, and it's like trying to get certain answers out of someone that you just met is also very difficult. Where you're like, I really would love for you to say it this way.
Dude, this could be the whole episode, but I also know that you have something fun in
Yeah,
store
so
that I know very little about.
You have treated me to the story game that we have, the very thin Candyland game that we have here, that I wanted to treat you. And so I have 3 categories that I want you get to pick. There are 2 mystery categories, or you can roll for a genre. So you have a 20-sided die, and you're going to roll it, but you just tell me if you want category 1, 2, or 3. Category 1 is genres. 2, you have no idea what it is. And then 3, you have no idea what it is.
Well, I feel like I need to do one of the ones I don't know what it is. That feels like that feels interesting, doesn't it?
That's true.
Like,
I guess you would be the most boring man on earth if you just chose.
It's like, do you want this little present, or do you want what's behind door number 1 or 2? I think I want to let's do the middle one. How about the middle one?
Okay, the middle
The
one.
middle mystery.
All right. So yeah, you have 20, and if you want to just go ahead and roll for me.
Yeah, I'm rolling.
You got your Dungeons and Dragons
I don't know.
20-sided die.
Yeah, 20-sided die. I don't know if this is bad, but it's a 2.
Oh boy, okay.
I immediately die on the podcast.
No, that's interesting. So what you were rolling was titles that I've thought of.
Oh, okay.
And so they have like no real anything to them. It's not even a scrap. You know, we do scrap episodes on here sometimes. It's not even a scrap. So it's just a title that I have.
Okay.
And I actually really like this title. And I was thinking about this one yesterday. I was like, I hope he rolls this one. So,
oh, nice, man.
That kind of, thank you, Lord.
It turns out, and then cut to your side. Every single one of your entries is the same title. It was like, I really hoped you had rolled this one.
Yeah, I kind of, they were loaded dice. You know? So the title is Previous Owner.
Oh, Previous Owner. That makes me, the vibe of that immediately makes me go to like a Pixar movie, because that feels like the world of pets or something.
Yeah.
But that's just my knee jerk. Obviously, you can go any direction. So as far as this game goes, is there anything else that needs to be rolled, or are we just basing it on this guy?
We're just basing it on this guy. I can quickly come up with something, you know, and off the top of my head, it's kind of the nature of the
Zach,
podcast.
what's the story about, man?
Roll for story.
Roll for story. Can you? Hey, is there a roll for the answer option?
Yeah, here we go. Here's the episode. I'm just going to read it to you guys.
Yeah, just 10 minutes of you reading your printed out.
Put this on double speed.
Yep. Okay, Previous Owner. Yeah, I think my immediate, and I don't know if this is most interesting to me, this is just where my mind immediately goes to, is like something about pets, animated, Pixar-esque. Like Previous Owner makes me think of like, a pet that's
The
got
Secret Life of
displaced
Pets kind
or
of thing.
something. Although Previous Owner seems to be not about the pet, it's about like the owner. Okay. So if I think about it more, then it becomes more about like, I find some sort of item, whether it's magical or not.
I feel like I've assumed the status of like I have answers and I don't. Just like, he's onto something here.
Zach, is this the right answer? Did I do it?
No, but I would agree with that.
It's more about like finding. Obviously, it implies like an item or something, and then a new person, and then something about the previous person is interesting. Like there's some mystery, there's some weird. I think there has to be some level of mystery to it, because I think
I mean that's like a step removed from someone's name. It's like you don't even know who they were. It was just the previous owner. Oh, the previous owner did this, this, and this. I guess I just made it sound like a house, but
it could be a house.
There's definitely a haunted quality to the name, I think, because there's this essence of whoever it is that is being invoked.
Yeah,
after they're there, you know.
Yeah, now my mind's going to like a haunted house thing, but it's like a comedy.
Okay.
Where it's like it's weird, and the previous owner is like, "Who was this guy?"
You
like,
ever go
like
to the county fair?
Have I ever gone to a county fair?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a while back.
I went to like go to like the haunted houses there.
I don't think ours had haunted houses.
Oh, really? Man,
yeah.
Ours, had one that was like, basically you just get in a little cart and it just takes you in and around, and there were just people inside that, ooh, I'm a headless man. That kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Anyway, I just thought like a carnival ride would be kind of an interesting thing to be previously owned. Like you're like pushing into the things that are weird because, if I was just to give an average person a list of like, what could this associate to? Most people would probably say house, car, pet, those types of things. But like, what's something that you could push? I feel like that's real Antonucci territory.
Do you want to do a full carnival? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Because we could go big. Like you can go really big where some business owner buys up this thing, this rundown something or other, a theme park or something.
We bought a zoo.
we bought a zoo and it's haunted. There's ghost. I don't know why. I'm only thinking haunted, which it doesn't have to be haunted.
It doesn't have to be bad haunted either. Like
that's where I'm saying like a comedy.
Like The Mask.
Okay, yeah. The Mask is basically a haunted item.
I guess that's true. Yeah, but not like a funny way. Something like that's kind of cool.
So I think we just need to hammer down what is the thing, whether it's as big as a carnival or as small as.
I think we are intuiting. This is for the audience. We're intuiting that the title is the theme, so it has to be important.
Mm-hmm.
So. That aspect of transferring things from one person to another is big in this.
There's also the idea of it's not just, we're kind of thinking of it in 1 and 2. There was a previous owner and there's new owner.
Mm-hmm.
It could be like a chain event, like Avatar Last Airbender. Like it's like there's always been previous owners.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, whatever this thing is, it's not about just the guy before. It's like there's a chain of people.
Yeah.
Which could be interesting.
That's kind of cool. Did you mention Ghost Rider a minute ago?
I said, no. I mentioned Avatar The Last Airbender.
No. I mean, like, this was like 5 minutes ago.
Oh.
Maybe you just said Ghost and then Ride.
Ghost Ride. Yeah, maybe.
And then
Carnival. I didn't say Ghost Rider. Are you talking about the show Ghost Rider where like the little ghost came and would write stuff for the kids?
No. That is a deep cut for most people. I remember that show. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was talking about the Marvel
You
superhero.
unlocked like a core memory. Like I didn't even
the
know
little like ball
that
thing.
Yeah,
that floats around.
Yeah, in my inside out head, it's like, oh man, he spat out Ghost Rider.
Yeah. Wow, we did not expect that today. I meant the Marvel superhero because Johnny Blaze finds an abandoned motorcycle in a junkyard and it's cursed, and that's what gives him his. Well, it's not really a power, I guess.
You were talking about like Nicolas Cage.
Yeah,
Ghost Rider.
The comic book character. Let's be fair.
It's Nicolas Cage in the comic book.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
It's always Nicolas
They've
Cage.
reprinted all the old issues with Nicolas Cage in them.
Yeah, and his whole thing is like what did you want to talk about Ghost Rider?
Oh, just that idea. Like the initial in the movie, it's that he sells his soul, which I think it does happen in the comics. But it might actually be the second Ghost Rider that just finds. The bike.
Finds the bike.
He finds the bike, of Johnny Blaze.
The first one's like, whoa. He can just pick up the bike and have it? I had to sell my soul for it.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually a really raw deal.
Yeah.
No, Danny Ketch is the second Ghost Rider. This is some like real Marvel knowledge I'm flexing on people right now. I feel bad.
Don't feel bad.
I feel bad.
These names sound like comic book names.
That's true.
It's funny. Danny Ketch, Danny Phantom.
Yeah. Thanks, Butch Hartman.
What if I like the idea of someone finding a thing, like finding some item, and it gives them some sort of power, and then
it obviously
tying the previous owner. I imagine there's some aspect of the thing where, like, when they look into mirrors or something, they can talk to the previous owner of the thing. So it's kind of
cool.
And it's whether that's like an antagonist or
dude, I just thought of something wild.
Okay.
So somebody finds, we have to figure out what it is, but like something that would connect those people.
A bowling ball. I'm just trying to think of something really awkward for someone to carry.
A belt buckle. Let's just go with a belt buckle. Okay, for sake, to move this into because we can change it, but I'm trying to connect 2 time periods here of like who in the present would use something from this era. But I imagine a young black kid who isn't cool, in school. He likes anime.
Is this like modern day?
Modern day,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
He likes anime, whatever. He's a total weeb, which I guess is maybe popular nowadays. I don't know. I'm pretty far removed from high school. But he finds a belt buckle. Like he goes and visits his uncle or grandpa on a big ranch out in Pennsylvania, and he finds a belt buckle that belonged to a Confederate soldier.
Okay.
And he puts it on, and he can see him in the mirror. And it's like this good old boy guy that like talks to him. And so it's
Okay.
like a buddy comedy kind of thing.
I'm trying to think of what do they do? Like, and why would the kid want to hang out with this Confederate white dude?
I don't know if he would want to hang out with him as much as, again, it's kind of the like he inherited this thing. But yeah, he helps the ghost learn a thing or two, and then the ghost helps him learn a thing or two. I think that's kind of an interesting dynamic. You can just pair the wildest people together, and that's conflict, which is drama. Now, that's what I was going for. That's what I was reaching for, was like trying to just find those pieces and make some explosion happen.
I like the idea. I like the idea of like two people from two time periods talking, and it could be these two people. I'm just trying to think of what the meat on the bones is, of what kind of story, or it feels like a comedy. This feels
That's
like
the
a
100%
comedy.
a comedy. I think it's not interesting if it's a drama. Like it would have to be like really about something.
I even pictured kind of, Night at the Museum, Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh
Robin
yeah.
Williams, just that kind of
totally.
old school, like man's man dude.
Yeah.
Who's, I think that's funny, especially comparing him with a guy who loves anime. And he's just like, have you seen anime? And he's like holding up anime to the mirror. And the guy's like, what is
Son,
this?
I don't know what it is I'm watching, but I love it.
Keep it coming, boy.
His name is One Punch Man.
Is he like an old dude? Like, is he like is he like a general, like in his 50s, or is he like a young soldier, like in his like 20s?
I don't know. That's a good question. I imagined he was like in his 30s. He's just like I guess he would be in his 20s, because like 30s, you'd have to be some sort of rank, staff sergeant or something.
Like
but
late 20s, and the guys in high school. Let's give this kid a name.
okay, the I guess a high schooler.
Yeah.
His name is. Let's see. I feel like we kind of hit like a ditch with names sometimes.
It could be Chris. It could be. Hold on, let me see. I wonder if there's like a name generator.
That would be cool.
Name.
Kind of removes a little bit of the whatever. I think Scott is a good name.
Name generator.
Something
.uk.
that's just
Quick name. Prince. Hold on. There's a lot of names this thing can generate.
well, especially for a high schooler nowadays. I think it's very important that the item, the previous owner is in the item.
Okay.
So I'm honestly thinking of like a car, and I know that kind of shakes it up just a little bit, but it might help us get away from some of the rockier territory we were just exploring. That like the kid is looking in the rearview mirror and he can see the guy, but he's also
while he's in the car.
yeah, the guy can control the car though.
Oh, okay. That's kind of fun.
So the previous owner is the car. He's like, man, you don't even want to know what happened to me.
Oh man. Sorry, this thing just generated. What about Milo? Milo's
cool. I like that.
Milo for the kid.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do the car's a funny idea, because I just think of he can't leave the car, like he's always inside the car,
Yeah.
and then
But he
Milo,
can control it, and people are like, "Oh man, it must be a smart car."
but it's like real old.
Yeah.
Okay, let's explore that a little bit. So he gets this car. Maybe he gets it as a gift. Maybe it's like a real junker.
Yeah, I think him
clunker.
and his dad go buy it together. They go on Craigslist. It's like
Yeah.
this car was impounded. It like you have to remove yourself from the previous owner a little bit if they buy it off of somebody. So the idea that like a crime happened in the car. The previous owner was murdered. Maybe that's what it is. That's how he got like.
Yeah, the deal. There's like a deal.
So he helps him solve his murder.
So let's talk about Milo's family, because I picture him and his dad going.
Yeah.
is his family complete? Like, does he have a father and mother and maybe a sister or something like that?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Do you think they're hard for money? Or it's almost funnier to me if they're not really hard for money, but his dad's just buying him this cheap car. He's like, Dad, you just bought a Tesla last week.
Yeah.
Why are we getting this? He's like, hey, you should have seen my first car. You always have to start with something simple.
Yeah, I'm not buying something that you're gonna wreck.
Yeah,
and
because I like that idea that they're fairly well off. They're not like rich or whatever, but they're well off. But just out of principle, the dad's.
I like that. I
making
think
him get an old
we're definitely exchanging that for it being really endearing that they're poor or like, that they can't afford. And I think, frankly, I can really relate to that is like going around with your dad and looking at cars.
Or we could just do it like, or it can be like, I don't want to make them like crazy poor, I guess.
No, yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's just
wanna,
like they saved up for this. And they've been waiting and looking for a car in the mail, as opposed to like they kind of have the privilege to choose. It's like, hey, this car that's within our range just popped up. We got to go now. Like,
yeah.
And
I think they're just like middle class and they've been saving up, and then they find
lower middle class kind of thing.
And maybe it's like it's old but kind of nicer. So that's the trade off where it's like, oh yeah, and he's like he was wanting something more modern. Milo was like, oh, I was hoping I could get it. It's like not maybe like full junker, but it is like feels like dad car or something.
Which I think safe bets are always like Honda Civics, Camrys, Accords, like older model. I know a Camry is not a model, but those types of things.
And then you have the car dealership guy, and he's just like, yeah, this beauty's on sale. And they're like, oh, really? Why? What's someone died in this car.
yeah, actually.
And Milo's like, someone died in this car. He's like, no, he's kidding. And then the guy's like, oh, he's not kidding.
I like that the car dealership guy is his uncle. If we go that route, where it's like, hey, I got these cars. This is straight from the impound lot. Like
that could be the reason they're getting such a deal on said car.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I'm already gonna have to sell this thing cheap. I'm just trying to get this thing moving. If you want this car, it
my
works.
mechanics
it drives.
hate that car. They open it up and it shocks them, and they just hate working on it. Like they could barely do a tune-up.
I like it. I like that. Okay, so then Milo's gets this car.
Yeah, his uncle's a sleazy car salesman, so it's like a small used lot. It's not like a huge thing.
Yeah, all his cars are haunted.
Yeah. I specialize in haunted vehicles.
Okay, so Milo brings his car back. They get it. The ghost or whatever you want to call it doesn't show itself immediately. It's more just like little quirks along the way of like acting weird, doors closing on its own, windows opening.
I wonder, I guess they drove there together. And they're driving off the lot.
And
so he's like, you want to drive it home? And he
Milo
can't.
drives home.
Like it won't work for him. Like, or, it's like it's a stick or something like that. So his dad's like, I'll drive.
Okay.
And his dad's like, you son of a. He's like, I don't know. I just can see that being humorous.
That's actually funny if his dad can't drive it really well. And then Milo eventually can. And he doesn't even know how to drive stick. The car teaches him how to drive stick.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Eventually.
What kind of car is it? I think that's kind of helpful. These kids in high school always drove Miatas around. So I think like a little Miata. But that's like a nicer, that's not a beater kind of car. Like there are like a subculture around Miatas. But something like that.
I just Googled old car not nice. And seeing what I put up with. Oh, yeah, I picture, like, can I drop this in our little chat?
There are probably listeners who know a lot more about cars and just, like, trend type things.
that are screaming into their headphones right now. They're
it's gotta be a Civic!
I'm not really a car guy, man, to be honest. Now all the listeners know. So thanks for that.
I know. Well, here we go. A 2001 Chrysler Sebring. So yeah, just the Sebring, like, but beat up. I mean, we're in 2024-ish modern territory, so that car would be over 20 years old. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's basically, it looks like a drug dealer's car.
Yeah. Wait. What if the last owner was a drug dealer?
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a great. Yeah, I imagine James Franco from Pineapple Express.
Although, well, do we want to put him? That changes the whole different time frame kind of thing. But
Oh, I think that's okay.
I
Yeah,
think it's funny still, as long as this
I think it's just
completely
personalities are so different that that's
yeah,
what's
because
really
we have
funny.
this kind of weeb anime.
Yeah,
techie.
I think it being a crime comedy is where we're headed. Where you have
They're solving a crime. He's like, you have to figure out who killed me.
yeah, he's trying to help him out, and he's like, I won't. He will be a better car for him if he helps him solve the murder. Like, is basically the thing. Like, I will get you where you're going if you can just help me solve this. The darkest part of me wants there to be like a brown stain on the ceiling, like where he got killed, like the blood splatter or whatever. And he's like, "That's me."
that's really funny. That's me. Yeah, I'm picturing kind of a James Franco-esque character. I don't know. I don't know if James Franco is canceled or not, but
I know
someone
he'll be
like him.
uncanceled in a few years. He'll be back.
He'll come back for this movie. Where let's talk a little bit about. I want to flesh out what is Milo's need. Like, what is, like, at the beginning? What are we establishing he's lacking that the story will help unfold?
I think he wants acceptance. He wants to be liked by people.
Yeah, that feels like a very
classic.
true high school story. And yeah, I picture he's got a few friends, or like one good friend. I think it'd be funny if he had one good friend, like Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man-esque, where he's got that one dude who's like they're best friends and they both love anime.
Oh, what's his name? Ned.
Let's just call his friend Ned. Milo and Ned.
Okay.
I like that. And then
Although that's a big famous one. If we're gonna like writing the exact same character. I don't know if his name can be Ned.
Okay, fine. It could be Ted.
I knew you were gonna do that. I was gonna say Fred.
Yeah, let's do Fred. I like Fred. We talked at one point that Fred is a name that no one actually has in the real world. It's only a movie name.
True. That's true. I was just gonna say something like Dwayne. Like, and because you got to make him a dweeb too, and it's like, I literally have the name of The Rock. But I'm not.
That's funny if he says that. He's like, my name's Dwayne. I have The Rock's name. Do I look like The Rock? No.
Maybe his name literally is Dwayne Johnson, and the people make fun of him because of that. It's like Dwayne the something Johnson. Like, they don't. He's not The Rock, but he's something else.
Yeah, Dwayne. I'm trying to think of something that rhymes with The Rock. The Croc. He wears Crocs all the time. They call me Dwayne the Croc Johnson.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
They're like, and Milo's like, stop wearing Crocs. He's like, I can't stop wearing Crocs.
I love my
them.
Crocs.
I love my Crocs. It's who I am.
That's,
well, then you are Dwayne the Croc Johnson.
Yeah, you're gonna be the Croc dude. Anyway,
okay, that's funny.
So yeah, Milo and Dwayne.
And Dwayne.
Yeah, I think Milo wants to be liked, has a good friend. If the drug dealer, or if the car is a drug dealer, essentially, then we need to make him pretty much the opposite of that. Because the drug dealer is going to teach him how to have like coolness, how to be suave.
Are we like saying that this drug dealer is like who he should aspire to be?
No, well, I mean, yes, he's going to take the good qualities, but he's like, a good line that Milo could have later on is like, you've been teaching me to be like you, but look where your story ended.
He's like, you're a brain stain on the roof of your car.
Yeah. Hey, brain stain. Yeah.
Okay,
and I think that's funny because the kid is literally in his seat now. He's sitting where he sat, so that he becomes like him, but then he chooses not to be like him at the end.
Yeah, we should name the drug dealer. My brain went to Ziz. Z-I-Z-Z.
Ziz.
Like they call me Ziz. That's not like his actual name.
Isn't that a medicine?
Is it?
Or Zizal?
That'd be funny.
He goes by, my name is Ozempic.
A Ziz, informal, a whizzing or buzzing sound, a short sleep.
Wasn't it
I
a
don't know.
bodybuilder too?
I just imagine like he has a normal name. His normal name is like literally like Bob.
Yeah.
But he's like no, I'm Ziz. I'm Ziz, man.
You check out the vanity plate.
But it could be whatever. But it's something weird.
I'm thinking like that. Yeah. I mean, we're a little into Jesse Pinkman territory. Like if Jesse Pinkman was the drug dealer and he got killed. Like, kid, my name is Ziz.
You do a good Jesse Pinkman.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, I'm picturing that mixture of Jesse Pinkman, James.
Jesse
Franco.
Pinkman's very funny.
Like
Dumb funny.
Yeah, I'm picturing. Have you ever seen Date Night? With
Jason Bateman.
No, not.
Oh no, you're thinking Steve
Carell.
Carell. I was thinking Game Night. Sorry. Oof.
Yeah, no. But what's his name? James Franco's in that movie.
Oh, okay.
With Mila Kunis, like they're like the crime people but they're like kind of dumb and that's who I'm picturing.
Okay.
That character where he's like kind of a low level criminal and he thinks he's cool, but he's not. He's not actually that threatening or anything. Like Milo's not that scared of him or intimidated by him.
Other than the fact that he's a ghost.
Well, yeah. Obviously that, but
he's like, why does he always put on the rap station?
So where do we want to land on his name?
Oh, I'm okay
or
with
just
Ziz.
some weird nickname like Cheese.
Yeah.
Because I've got the cheddar.
Yeah, well, that's Jesse Pinkman, where he's like the chili pea.
Oh yeah, I don't remember him giving himself nicknames. It's been so long since I've seen
He was.
Breaking Bad.
What was it? Oh man. Oh, what was his nickname? Now that you said that, I won't be able to remember it. But chili pea. Maybe it was chili pea.
Oh yeah, it might have been. I think that sounds right.
Yeah, but the captain was like his vanity plate too. Anyway.
Well, we can change him if you're thinking we're too close to Jesse Pinkman. We can give him
I think it's been long
character.
enough now, and this is a movie, and I think it makes it easier to adopt that voice, but we just make it a James Franco. We can take him in different territory, like what drugs he's doing too, or dealing or whatever.
Yeah.
Interesting landscape changes in terms of culture too. Like meth, I don't know, it's still a big deal, obviously, but fentanyl is the one that's like killing people. So I don't know if that's like, I'm not out here about that fenny,
Yeah, I imagine he's just a normal
pothead
guy.
Yeah.
And then they're like,
he went to the same high school as Milo, and he's like, yeah, my name's on the wall there, and he's like, oh yeah, and
it'd be funny if there was in like, I don't know, Colorado or somewhere, and he's like, you got to continue my legacy, and they're like, weed's legal, man.
Yeah.
He's like, what?
That would be funny, yeah.
Or he's just thinking, he's like, what do you mean it's legal? It's like however much time has passed, and I imagine this guy, this ghost guy. What if we just called him Tyler?
Okay, yeah, I like that.
Tyler's the name of the guy, the ghost.
Tyler's kind of a dirty name. No offense to Tyler's.
In the right context, it's
yeah.
But I think him, like giving him the quality of a sponge too. Like he's trying to, in a sense, influence and help Milo. He's like, dude, you're a dweeb. I've got to help you. I know what's cool. People thought I was cool, and he's like, that's really funny because it's that buddy
like what's
cop.
cool is not cool anymore.
It's that concept of like if you have like two dumb characters, but one doesn't think he's dumb, but he still is.
Yes.
That's how you can have like two funny dumb characters without one being the straight man. It's kind of a little like that where Milo's kind of a dweeb, and then he's acting like he's cool, but it turns out like he was never cool. Like people didn't think he was cool, but like he hardly ever even.
So then
had
does he end
customers.
up being cool on accident, kind of thing? Like,
I think he starts out as cool because like Milo is just like, whoa, this guy seems like he's got street cred.
Yeah,
he can like teach her, and then. But then the ghost is like a sponge and is like, what is this you're looking at? And he's like, oh, it's called One Punch Man.
Yeah.
And then he's like, that's so. And then it turns out like if Tyler had been alive, like they would have been friends. Like he would have just been friends with the other two. He would have been a weave, and it's maybe that's part of the.
Well, that's
story
what you find
arc.
out is like he really maybe wasn't even a drug dealer.
It's really funny if he's just like he's trying to pretending to be a
He's
drug
like, "What are you
dealer.
holding on to? You're dead." Yeah, I mean, the thing is that he was a nobody, so that's why he's the previous owner.
Did
Like,
he? I don't know how dark we want to go, but if he wasn't a drug dealer, then why did he die?
well, that's the central mystery of the film, for sure. I think he was just he fell in with the wrong crowd. I think he wanted to be liked really bad too, and that's where you have the foil for Milo. Is that again? I I appreciate everything you've done, but I don't want my story to end where yours did. Kind of thing. So that he maybe falls in with that crowd too. Although somebody who's previous owner, he's been dead for a long time, I would think.
Yeah.
And especially if he was driving in a 2001 Sebring, that he would, you got to think about his classmates now, because that's who he would be investigating. Like the people who killed him, if he got killed by people his own age.
Oh, okay. I kind of honestly forgot about the solving the murder situation.
Well, I think the whole thing is that it's his dad's generation. So you have Milo and his dad, and then his dad's like best friend who comes over, Mr. Blah, 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 who's like a more successful version than his dad. And that guy was a part of what's his face's murder.
Okay. Well, so the solving the mystery, does Tyler not remember who did it?
Maybe he didn't see it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It depends on how he died. I guess he had to have died in the car, is what we're saying.
Yeah. So I was imagining like someone else was in the car with him and like shot him. And
Either
that's
shot
why
him
that's why there's blood on the
That's true.
ceiling.
Yeah. Okay.
This is getting dark for a comedy too.
But I like that. I like that a lot because it deals with, here comes Remasculator, Zach. It deals with, which we are kind of backing our way into.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we got to be careful about that. We can't tell just another remasculator. Which the story is not about Tyler as much. It's more. It needs to be about Milo.
It is, yeah. But even that's the case. It's like, I guess it's not a remasculator. It's just him coming of age. Milo coming of age through Tyler's thing. And Tyler doesn't like become a man. He basically gets exercised and is put to rest.
What if I keep coming back to this thought, and I don't know, this could be a little heavy for a comedy that we're trying to tell, where it's this idea that he keeps talking about. He's like, I fell in the wrong crowd, and we need to figure out who did it, and saying like someone did it, but then again, and we can stop if it's too blue. Like it could have been that he killed himself.
I thought that too. Yeah, that he reveals that he actually killed himself.
Yeah, there was no one else involved, and it's like,
yeah,
and he's like, I wanted to hang out with you guys or something. Like it's like, I don't know, that definitely changes the story.
yeah, but it also, I think for Milo, that's Milo's worst outcome. That's what Milo needs to be saved from. That ultimately loving yourself, or like wanting you to be liked so much actually you want to destroy yourself. It's self-hatred. You need to reject the self-hatred because that's ultimately what you're running from. There's something about yourself that you really don't like. And Tyler's story ended poorly, and maybe he accidentally killed himself. It doesn't have to be like, not like totally accident, but it's just like, I thought I was going to try and scare some people, and I'm thinking it's more of an overdose type thing.
Okay, yeah.
Or if he got killed by someone, it was more of an accident rather than it's like, because I'm trying to tie in this multi-generational thing where like you have Milo's dad and his friends were friends. They knew Tyler. And this car is just like bopped around over the years. And Milo's good friend, Milo's dad's friend was the one who was like directly responsible. He was the cool guy. And still kind of is. It's a little bit of the Biff from Back to the Future. Like he's the kind of hotshot dude, and then you go back and you realize he's not.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like the scene where when they go to the car lot at the beginning, it's just like Milo's looking around the car and stuff, and then the dad's like, "This car looks familiar," and then like the uncle's like, "This was Tyler's car."
Mm.
And then he's like they both knew him, and
Oh yeah.
and I don't know, maybe that influences the dad's decision too, to like kind of like how there were.
Well, if the
So,
dad
like,
knew how he died, he probably wouldn't be like, "Yeah, I want you to buy this."
Yeah, that's true.
I think the dad is just more of like I was there and I wasn't really a part of it
Hmm.
kind of thing. Whereas he can speak to it and recognizes things, or maybe making the dad more part of it. I think the
Yeah.
worst possible scenario for Milo would be that his dad killed Tyler, but his dad would
Yeah.
not want to buy the car.
Yeah, I don't want to make the dad do that. I'm on the fence if like anyone directly kills him, or if it's more like you said, like someone's kind of the cause that pushes Tyler to have some sort of accident or something.
Yeah,
like that.
it's all to reveal that Tyler is broken, and he's the broken version of Milo, basically.
Mhm.
That he's what would happen to Milo if he was left unchecked.
Mhm.
Yeah. But he could give him information about his dad and whatnot that he didn't know. That could be kind of interesting.
It could be. I think we're really following this tunnel into this drama territory. This where I feel
Yeah,
like,
I think that's the concept on its face is very funny. You cannot sell that without the laughs.
Yeah.
But you can actually tell a story about these generations of kind of broken kids through this type of this linchpin thing. I don't know. I think that's interesting, and it's a haunted car. It kind of pulls in a little bit of this Christine aspect, which I don't. I've been forever since I've seen Christine. I don't know if she's haunted or if she just is a cognizant, like demonic car. I think she's more of a demonic car.
yeah, I do not know what Christine is.
Oh, it's the Stephen King story that got turned into a movie
Oh.
about like a really nice old car from the 50s. This takes place like in the 70s, and this dweeby kid gets it and he like goes crazy basically. So it's a little like that, except
more comedy.
more comedy. Yeah. And
I think we need to lean a bit more into the comedy. Like I think we're kind of getting in the weeds with making Tyler have a distinct mission. Like I almost feel like it's funnier if Tyler's just trying to have a good time and he's just trying to have fun like he was like
yeah,
beforehand, and he doesn't want to face the fact of what happened. He doesn't want to address,
that's
like,
fair. Yeah.
and because I feel like that gives him, if he's like so dead set on stuff and too serious about solving something, I feel like there's a level of seriousness where I want there to be this fun and games chunk of the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like where he's like,
You got to give him a reason
he's
to be
he's
that way.
driving Milo to school, and it starts hydraulicing.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
everyone, he's like, stop it! You're drawing too much attention, or there needs to be clearly like some sort of love interest for Milo.
Yeah.
And then like
He gets in the car
he's
with
like
her.
he goes on a date, and like he can see that, like, and then like Tyler's in the back. He's like, yeah, man, yeah. He's like put your arm around her.
Yeah.
And I feel like if it's too heavy from the start and Tyler has a mission, we don't get that.
Yeah. I guess I was working my way backward. That basically, if you could get, because that could come up pretty much at any time, that if you give Tyler this amnesia and then something happens and then the plot can kind of kick in, I think that's where stuff starts to get more serious.
Do you think it's more interesting for him to have amnesia, like ghost amnesia, or for him to know, like he can see out of the corner of his eye what he should address, but he just is afraid to address it, so he keeps on trying to focus his energy on Milo.
Then Milo would need to be the one who makes him do it.
Yeah, which I think there could be a scene of something like that where Milo is talking to him. He's
Milo
like, "Hey,
definitely needs to race someone.
that would be really funny. They're like, you think you could beat me in that old clunker?
And he does.
And he's like, Tyler's like, hang on.
And then Tyler's like, I wasn't driving, you were.
Oh yeah, that's cool. See, like there's all these little moments that happen in the car that would be
Yeah.
really cool, and it's funny if he tells Dwayne about it, and Dwayne's like, so the ghost is in the car right now.
Yeah.
And he's like, and Tyler's like, hey, tell Dwayne I like his Crocs.
I don't even know if he would know what Crocs are.
He's like, what? Tell him I like those weird shoes he's got on.
Yeah. He's not allowed to drive me if he's wearing them.
Yeah. Can anyone else see Tyler, or is it just Milo since he's the car owner?
I think would he be the owner?
Probably not.
His dad
like
would
not on
be
the
the
name
owner.
on the title. Probably.
Yeah, I think
that
the
would
name
be
on
funny.
the title would be the one.
Magic is so specific. He's like, only the name on the title can see.
Yeah,
me.
I mean, it's a little genie-esque where it has like very specific rules to it.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's just anybody who spends enough time in the car.
It would be
We'll
it
see
would
him.
be funny if he could just reveal himself to, like, if Dwayne could see him.
Yeah,
Like, that's funny because he's like, dude, that's so cool.
maybe the car has been restored, and it like drove off a bridge and into a river. You know, so that's why he has amnesia. He like doesn't remember the accident, kind of thing.
Yeah, he's like, all I remember is my skull flying through a rock.
Yeah, yeah. But he just remembers like landing in the dark water, and that's it.
Yeah. I think that's interesting. Like, and he just thinks he's like, oh, I must have been super high or something.
Yeah.
And then come to find out someone didn't like him and like kind of
tinkered with the car.
tinkered with the car or forced him to fall off the bridge. Like, that's really interesting. And that also allows Tyler to stay this happy-go-lucky character for most of the movie until.
But then when he finds out, he can then turn into a little bit more of like, no, we need to do this.
Yeah.
I don't know. It does take away the suicide thing, which I really liked. That hits hard in a good way, and I think is prescient for young men.
I just feel like it might be hitting too hard for the comedy. Like, I feel like we're kind of desaturating the comedy to like hit on that a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's the fine line of just balancing those elements out. Like, I'm not saying that we should keep it in there. I'm just, in general, like a dark comedy, it does come down to like, okay, where are our laughs coming from? I think we have to figure out the basic plot points in any high school movie would be like, okay, you have prom, you have a date, you have a love interest. Like, that's what Milo is interested in.
And it could still be the suicide thing. I think the aspect of Tyler not remembering what killed him is kind of crucial because I want him to be this happy-go-lucky, wild guy that, like,
whereas
helps.
if I knew I got murdered,
like, it kind of
unless
really
he's like exceptionally dumb, where he's like, hey man, can we like solve my murder sometime? Can we get back to my murder?
Yeah, I think this idea of, because I imagine if he's like, oh man, I'm a ghost. He's like, do you need to do something to like pass to the other side? He's like, I don't have the faintest idea, man. I have no idea.
I'm trapped in a car.
I'm trapped in a car, a sweet car, but a car nonetheless.
Yeah.
And then something could trigger. Is Milo kind of depressed? Is he struggling with that? Is he to that level?
I think so. I think he's either like Milo's. We've talked about his family life being perfectly fine, but the idea of being liked in high school is really hard to grasp nowadays. Like, I don't know if it operates the same way that it did when I was in high school. I know it does principally, but like, how does it play itself out? You have all social media. You know, I remember just pining for girls on Facebook and stuff. Like, you reach out with like a dorky message. That doesn't work like that anymore. I'm sure it's like, TikTok or whatever. I
think it's just like a lonely generation. I think people are like online more than they are plugged in, and maybe it's like he's feeling. Maybe there are bullies, but maybe he's just like feeling lonely. Like, I've seen some movies like that where it's like there's maybe a bully or something, but more often than not, people are just indifferent. They're just like, it's not like someone's being actively mean to him. It's like, oh, he could form connection, but he's afraid to, and everyone's like kind of in their own world.
I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. And then from Tyler's generation, which is really not that long ago, but long enough ago where it would be like, just go up and talk to him. He has no problem being gregarious.
Yeah.
And just striking up a conversation.
Yeah, I think, then we just need to, if Tyler ends up killing himself, it needs to be for different reasons, because he's clearly a different guy than Milo. Like he struggled with the same stuff. Like he struggled with being sad. If that's his
Well, yeah, I mean,
ending.
a girl breaking up with him, a girl getting stolen from him, he gets kicked out of school, some family life issue. It'd be kind of interesting for Milo to go visit like Tyler's mom, who's an old woman now, but like lives out in a trailer park, and it's just like, yeah, my son died. I think that would be really interesting.
That I think that'd be interesting if he could like pull the car up close enough that like he could have the window down
Yeah.
and then she's like, that was my son's car, and then
Yeah.
Tyler, like Milo can see Tyler there, like
That might be the
tearing up.
ending there, or like the Tyler being exercised.
Yeah, I think that could be. He's like, I've got one last thing. I got one last thing. Sorry, I just went to full comedy mode in my head. He gets the car like squished again.
He gets it in, yeah,
Compounded. Cubed.
Here's
No,
Tyler.
I think yeah, something like that. Like maybe the mother's like he crosses paths with her little bits, like at the grocery store or something like that. Like establish her at some point, and then I kind of want Milo to give her the car, but like I don't think his dad would just let him do that.
Yeah.
It was like, you can't just give her the car, Milo. We bought the car. But some sort of closure, like bringing closure. And maybe that's something he keeps saying. Tyler's like, he's like, I had a big fight with my mom before, and I never got to reconcile it. And somehow Milo brings that closure and it's like the mom's like, hey, I still loved him. I knew that he was mad that day. And yeah, I think that is some form of that is the closing, the ending of
that
thing.
could very easily just be seated in there throughout.
And then he's like, whoa, he just like ascends from the car. Or
maybe
whatever.
he recognizes his mom and like is following, like Tyler's driving. He takes over driving from Milo and it's like, no, I need to follow that lady. And he doesn't know who she is.
That I think that's really interesting. If Tyler knows the base core things about, like he kind of knows
He
his name's
essentially has
Tyler.
brain damage. And so
he
like,
gets little pieces of it, and then maybe that's part of the thing. Like I think that's could be fun and games, like the fun and games chunk of the second act. If at some point he's like, I think I got shot, I think I got murdered, and then like they go on this wild goose chase. He's like, I remember that guy a little bit. And he's like, that guy used to be mean to me, and then it's this hunt for a little bit where they're playing detective and Milo has to play.
I think it would be kind of cool if there was a girl that Milo was interested in that he like brings her in on the mystery.
Yeah.
Like instead of her just being kind of a separate like thing for him, like obstacle essentially, that I can just see that being a cute dynamic where you have Dwayne, the girl, and she's like, wait a minute, there's a ghost in your car.
Yeah.
It's like the Wednesday Addams girl. What's her face? Ortega.
Yeah. Like she's very like bleak and
yeah.
like that.
Well, I think that's true. She should be like a Wednesday type thing. Like she's interested. And then Milo's like, I always wanted a goth girl.
No, I think we're getting more form to this. I'm liking it more than earlier.
The selective amnesia. I know that's kind of like a writerly thing, but the idea that he's reforming and he can even say something to the effect of like, I think I got shot. And it's like, oh man, the story really hit the gas, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Then it comes to find out that he just killed himself.
Yeah.
Like all of that makes sense. We just selectively reveal it.
I think it lets us keep the comedy and the goofiness because and then I like the idea of like he brings in Dwayne and Dwayne's like cool, and I like the idea that the ghost can reveal himself sometimes to whoever, and then eventually this girl he tries to go on a date and Tyler tries to help him and he's like, dude, do this. He's like, kiss her now. It's like she just got in the car. He's like, do it.
I like the idea that Dwayne is actually a really popular guy. I just thought about that because we're in this like kind of post-click high school world, and I want it to be relevant, but it's like he is a football player or whatever, but maybe he wrecked his car and his dad's like, you can't drive anymore. Or maybe he got a DUI and so like literally can't drive. And so his friend / neighbor, who's like not even really friends with him, is Milo. And so he like starts hitching rides with Milo. I know it's just like a separate kind of subplot thing, but I think that would add to the kind of fresh feel to it, where it's not like these guys are all losers. It's just like you have literally the jock, the goth girl, and the nerd
Yeah.
solving the mystery.
Oh, okay.
And
so
we have
instead-
muscle, we have brain, and we have like persuasion.
Yeah, I like that. It's like the new Jumanji movies kind of have that.
Yeah, okay,
kind of
yeah, that's
dynamic.
true. That's a great yes.
Where, yeah, maybe he's not even like he's friendly to
Yeah.
to Milo. He's like maybe they don't
He's
hang
like,
out at
I
school.
came to your
but-
third birthday party, or whatever. I came to your third grade birthday party.
yeah, I think that's it. So is he taking the Dwayne role? You think?
I think that is Dwayne.
Oh, that is Dwayne, and he's still Dwayne the Croc.
Yeah, yeah.
But people don't like he just wears Crocs all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
It's like yeah, it's who I am.
If I'm not on the court, I don't. I'm wearing Crocs. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like a basketball player.
I think that could be. I like that idea of this like popular, muscular dude who actually like kind of sincerely likes
Well, yeah,
him, but then he goes and then he'll hang out with the jocks and stuff, and then comes back. And then yeah, you got kind of this gothic emo-esque girl that Milo likes. He's like, have you heard of One Punch Man?
oh man,
It would be funny actually if Milo is like secretly loves anime and he's like kind of like
Yeah.
he's not outwardly like that much.
and
of a
she
dork.
likes it.
And then like eventually like he like drops all his like comic books. He's like, no. And she's like, oh, I love One Piece. I
Yeah.
love One Punch Man. And he's like, oh.
That
And
definitely
then,
seems like high school now. If you're just like a normal guy that's like, yeah, I like anime, you
Yeah.
could probably find a girl that likes anime too.
yeah. I feel like it's like I think modern movies that is kind of a struggle to like
Yeah,
how do you make people like even the Tom Holland Spider-Man, like the bully in that is like shorter than he is. And
Yes.
it's just like this rich kid.
I actually like that because I feel like that's more true to my experience anyway, where they were just like charismatic kids who were just the class clowns or whatever. Like the class clown is not always like a good guy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that's kind of an interesting thing. I don't know if he was necessarily the class clown, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think he tried to be funny, but I think that was more true to form because I think old school is like you have the jock that's the bully.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just different. I think people have to write things a little different because I think
So,
you can still clearly have a jock that's a bully. I think
Yeah.
that can still exist, but it also is more just people just choosing like it's more like and I guess this is what bullying has always been. It's like certain people putting you down to feel better about who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So because it is just interesting because it feels like everything's kind of cool in its own niche at this point.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it'd be. I'm a long way removed from high school, and I remember there were some anime people in my high school. Like,
Oh,
that
yeah.
would wear like
They
even
were
the
weird, dude.
They would wear the Naruto tails and stuff, which
Yes.
I get. Like, and it's like okay, that was a little weird. That was like real extreme. Like you had like little
Yeah.
little
We had a sci-fi
cat
club
ears and
that was
stuff.
really
for
into
me
that kind of thing.
personally. If you do that and that makes you happy, cool. But like at that time, I'm just curious if high school now, if that's like a more common thing. Like if that's just
I think it's
people
more
are
common,
all
but that doesn't
doing their
necessarily mean
thing.
it's like normalized entirely.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's still, it's more about the social thing,
Mhm.
the status and the all that. I don't know what that looks like nowadays. Like people have their own subcultures and they're so on their sleeve about it now
Mhm.
that I don't know.
I don't know. But hey, we're running low on time, but I do think we got some good outlines for this. I think it's
Yeah.
a funny story going through the beats. Milo likes anime, is kind of not super connected with people at school, doesn't have a ton of friends, except this one jock guy, Dwayne, that
Yeah.
like hitches rides with. Or, well, he doesn't hitch rides with him. He's like, dude, you got a car? I just. if he just got a D, he's like, I just got a DUI. I don't want to make Dwayne that dumb, but
I don't think
a
he's
little.
dumb. It's just like he, in his own way, like has come around. Like he's had his own arc, basically.
Yeah.
That now he's like, he's just like, man, he's just chill.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a chill guy.
Yeah. So we have Dwayne the Croc Johnson, who the dad gets this car. Used to be Tyler's car. They're like, oh man, I remember that guy from 20 years ago or whatever. Milo sees the ghost. He introduces it to Dwayne. The ghost is like, I can teach you how to be cool, man.
Yeah,
And it's like not like old school cool, not like Dwayne's cool, old
Yeah.
school cool, and like tries to give him tips on, and just so there's the dating aspect. There's like racing at the. He's like, back in my day, we used to race in the parking lot. He's like, no one races here, no one cares about. And then he just
Yeah.
like guns it and goes 90 through the parking lot.
Maybe he
I think
sees
all
a
that-
police officer who used to be a student that would race Tyler. And so he starts trying to race the police car.
That would be funny if there was a police officer who's like very buttoned up. He's like, and Tyler's like, back in my day, that was Wild Pete.
Yeah,
That was Wild
yeah.
Pete. And then there's like the revving, and then the police officer's like, are you trying to race me, boy? And he's like, I remember that car. And he's like, no, sir. No, I'm not trying. And then it guns, and then like the police officer's just like, wow, and just like gets lit up and just is super excited to be going fast. And he's like, I remember racing Tyler like this.
Yeah. I
But
put a NOS system in the car, Milo.
Anyway, then Tyler helps him with dating. Then they all Tyler kind of has selective amnesia and he's like, I think I was shot. Then you get to like kind of the second act of them playing detective, or it's like second half of second
Yeah,
act.
you uncover more of the dirty dynamic that was happening with Tyler, maybe a previous love interest. And Milo like stalks these people, he's like being driven around, but also is like, go in the house and find this clue, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I do like the idea of Tyler saving them somehow. Like no one's driving the car and he drives the car through like a
the
shed or
garage
something
door.
or a fence. Yeah. I think there's a lot of room for jokes and stuff. And then we get the end. And then I guess the point of the thing is like trying too hard to be liked a little bit, like not being true to himself. And Tyler's like, oh man, yeah, I remember feeling real sad and just yeah. And then he realizes that he killed himself, and then like ended things off poorly with his mom and stuff like that. And that's kind of the learning lesson for Tyler, or not Tyler.
And
sorry.
Milo, could maybe
Milo.
go and obviously he understands that he's not as lonely anymore. He has these two friends.
Yeah.
And then Tyler gets exorcised from the car.
Yeah.
Or maybe the car gets destroyed. Like
Yeah. I think that
Tyler
could be-
sacrifices himself,
Yeah.
don't
I think one of those, whether it's like he meets up with the mom again or the car being destroyed.
Getting hit by a train is probably the cleanest, I think.
I just don't know what would incite that, because there's no, like, they're not playing detective anymore. So it's like there's no antagonist.
He just happens to park on the train tracks.
Unless he's like, that would be really funny where Tyler's like, hey, it's time for me to go. And they're like, what does that mean? And then like the doors close and they're like all on the side of the road, and the car just like and drives on the train track. gets creamed by a train.
Screamed. He's like, I can feel the energy taking me. I need to go.
Oh, and then Milo's like, that was my car, man.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I don't know. We might, and I feel like it fits with Tyler because we're keeping him at this happy. He's like, it's ready for me to pass on to the other side. And he's like, so what does that mean? Are you just going to like ascend and move on and leave the car? And then the car just drives and or drives off a cliff or something like that. And then I like that scene. And then it's like, oh, and it's like the three friends.
And so she starts driving them.
Well, like they were in the car, so it's like them walking home. Like
Yeah.
I like that scene, this long shot of just their backs walking home, and the credits start rolling, and they're like, I don't know, that's very, very old school.
That's cute.
But no, I think
It's very
that's
heartwarming.
I think that's the story, man. Dude, that ending is so funny to me. Wait, Tyler, you don't need to.
I had this thing where it's like, post credits. What's good? The goth girl, let's call her Anna. Anna, she, I think, is good to kind of pull us as the audience back out, where she's just reacting like a normal person would for a lot of it. Just like, there is a ghost that lives in your car, whatever. And then the car like kills himself. He kills himself again. I just realized that he kills himself again. I don't know if we can do that, but it is very funny. He's like, yeah, I gotta go.
Oh man.
It is.
It's like, did he learn his lesson?
It's like, and I mean, either way, audience, you can tell that this idea,
audience, audience, choose your own adventure. Does he just peacefully fly away, or does he crash himself into a train?
Yeah. I think him saving them, I think, is a really good idea. Like it's the reverse. Like he's laying down his life, for them rather than for himself. And I think that's an interesting thematic kind of bookend for Tyler. But it's really about Tyler becoming friends with some people. I think is kind of an interesting idea. But anyway, let's do it along the lines.
All right. And along the lines, do you have one? Or
I think, especially with the suicide thing, it's that one line that I kept bringing up. I think was applicable. Where I don't want my story to end where yours did. Mm-hmm. Where Milo has a heart-to-heart with Tyler. Mm-hmm. But I feel like there are so many more. You want a race buddy. I think that's a good sequence that kind of keys you in on something, but it doesn't communicate much thematically.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't always have to communicate everything thematically, but I think I like that line a lot. I think that's like the crux of like where that's the line that Milo realizes.
Yes.
Like he wants things to change. He wants to put himself out there and create friendship and do stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that would need to be ironed out, as all of these ideas have to be. But I think that would be the core thing that Milo learns, is that he thought he wanted to be liked, but really what he needed was to stop hating himself so much.
Mm-hmm. We also need to come up with a title. I want to say Ghost Car, which is funny because that's like a sketch that we made in the past a little bit.
Yeah, we have a YouTube sketch called Ghost Car. Well, that's what we call it, but it's not called that.
What about? It's not called that anymore. That's what.
Previous Boy Genius, I think is what it's titled now on my YouTube channel.
Yep. What about something like Backseat Driver?
Okay, yeah, something like that. Yeah, I like that. Something car related.
Yeah,
obviously.
Backseat. I'm trying to think of a good, clever way to tie ghost in driving.
Yeah.
Ghost Driver. It's like Ghost Rider a little bit.
Exactly. I'm thinking Previous Owner is probably the best bet we have right now, even if it's just a working
I forgot
title.
I forgot this started with the title. I'm sorry about that, man. I forgot it all started with the title, Previous Owner. I feel like Previous Owner or something that makes me laugh is Tyler in the back seat.
Yeah, something. Yeah. I like that.
But yeah, I think Previous Owner is a good working title.
Yeah, this one has a working title. Some of them don't always have titles that feel perfect, and I think this just started from that. So it's like that's what it is.
Previous Owner, guys. You've all listened to Previous Owner. Thank you for listening, and until next time, we'll catch you later. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. We'll catch you in the next one, folks.
Yeah, take it easy, guys.
Thank you all for listening to StoryFellas, a part of the Pemmican Studios podcast network. Check out our show notes for bonus material, links, and more. To find out more about our current projects, send us messages, and suggest ideas for the show, go to StoryFellasPodcast.com. If you liked what you heard, share the show with a friend. Word of mouth is the best way to grow this community. Until next time, go make and break those stories.